Hi guys, it's John with Loop Follow. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial on setting up the watch face that Loop Follow has. We've actually got two that we're going to go through. So you can't do everything in the simulator that I'm running on my Mac. So I do have some screenshots here on the left. So I'll kind of go back and forth with a live walkthrough in the simulator and then over into some of the screenshots. So the first watch face we're going to set up, you're probably familiar with this if you've used Sugarmate or if you've used Spike in the past. It uses the Apple Watch calendar complication to update the BG right on your watch face. Now, this is the reason for using the calendar is it's the only complication that Apple allows to update in real time. All the others have a limited number of updates that they're allowed to use per day, and that usually results in about every 15 minutes maximum that you're getting an update. So that's why we use the calendar, and here's how you're going to set it up. First, you're going to go into the calendar app on your phone and click calendars at the bottom. We need to create a new calendar. So we're going to say add calendar, and I'm just going to name this Loop Follow. Now, normally you'd want to put this on your iCloud account. Because I'm running in a simulator, I don't have access to that. It's just going to be on my phone. But right here, you would pick iCloud account. And then we're going to click done. Now, the reason for using your iCloud account is it actually gives you some cool options. Like you can share it with other family members. So one person could be running the app, but everybody could have this feeding their watch with just the one calendar. We're going to go ahead and click done and go back into Loop Follow now. And if we go to settings and the watch CarPlay settings, we only really need to do two things to get this working right away, and that is one, to turn on Save BG to Calendar, and two, pick this new calendar we just made. So I'm going to pick Loop Follow. Now, that in and of itself is enough for this to get started. While we're waiting on this first reading to show up, I am going to explain some of the other details you see here. So you'll see here on the left, 73 is the BG, your Dexcom trend arrow, your delta of -12, and then for Dexcom users, that's all you're going to have access to for the most part. For Loop users, you will also have the access to the current loop status, which is right here. If there's an override set, that can be shown. And this is actually my watch. I have uh, current basal, current IOB, and current carbs on board. So that's what these three numbers are. So I can just do a quick glance. So if we go back into the settings here, you'll see how this works. We have a bunch of variables down here, and you can use any of these variables right inside of this to display however you want. So for instance, if you want to do more like I have, and you don't need or don't want it to say C colon, I colon, B colon for carbs on board, insulin on board, and basal, you could just change those to a dash. And anything inside the parenthesis or inside the percentage symbols is going to be a variable that's replaced. Anything outside is going to be text that's left as is. So we probably have a reading in now. We can go back and take a look. So the first thing you want to make sure is that this is syncing up, going right into your calendar on your phone before you even get to the standpoint of adding it to your watch. So I've just confirmed this is going into the calendar. I will show you, for instance, another edit you could do here is we can delete the entire second line, and we can put direction and delta on the second line and just make the current BG on the first line. You could even say if your child's name, for instance, is Sally, you could say Sally BG, and that would show right there in the first line on your watch, and then line 2 there. And the reason we use 2 lines is because for a lot of the watch faces, like the one I have shown on the left, 2 lines are available. For some watch faces, only 1 line is available, and you can edit it if you need to. So now that we've got that taken care of, see if it's pulled an update now with Sally BG. We'll check on that in a minute with the next reading comes through in just a few seconds. So the next thing you're going to want to do is go into the Watch app on your iPhone. So not on the watch itself, the Watch app on your iPhone. Now this is one thing that the simulator does not show. Right on the main screen, you're going to want to scroll down past the section that has the general. And underneath that section, you're going to keep going down until you see calendar. So you can see calendar here. When you tap on calendar, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. It will most likely say in this bottom section for calendars, it will say mirror my phone. You're going to select custom, and then on the next screen, you'll have a list of all your calendars. I've just grayed out all of my personal information. I have a ton of calendars in here. You want to uncheck every single calendar, scroll up and down, make sure every calendar is unchecked other than the one that you just created. If you followed my instructions step by step, it would say loop follow. Mine just happens to be called loop. So then once all are unselected other than the one singular one you just created, you'll click done. What that's going to do is that's going to make your phone send your watch only that calendar information. So your watch face won't even have any information from the other calendars that are on your phone. So let's go back and double check. So there, just wanted to show you that change that I made. I changed it to say Sally BG, it's 197, so that would be your first line, that would be your second line. So that's how you can use that line 1 and line 2 setting to control exactly how this displays on your watch face. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to actually put it on your watch face. So for this, we're going to go into the face gallery. This can be used on most watch faces. There's only a few that you can't use it on. And I'm going to go on the screenshot, give you an example, just so that you can watch it as I'm scrolling through these. For the most part, any watch face where you see a straight line of text at the top, bottom, anywhere on it, like you see 72 degrees partly cloudy, or you see a curved line of text like you have with breathe, and you have with Explorer here on the left, those can all be used. Likewise, any that show text along the outside edges, such as California, those can be used, but I will show you an example of that. It's not the greatest use because it's super tiny text. And then, you know what, let me just scroll down through and tell you which ones can and can't be used. So activity, it can be used here in this bottom section, and you just scroll down and pick bottom, and then you pick your schedule. So on any of these that you're going to add it to, you want to pick your schedule from the calendar complication, and then you say add, and that puts it right on your watch face. Artist has no complications that can be used, so you cannot use it on artist. Astronomy and breathe, I already mentioned, you can use it on the bottom section. California is one that I'll show you here. So these give you top left, top right. You have a lot of sections here that you can use. So if we say bottom left and scroll to calendar and pick your schedule. Now, top middle, some have icons that you can use in the middle, and some even actually only allow icons around the sides. In that case, if you open it and pick your schedule, and oh no, this one can do it. So you can see this one actually does work. It can be added right around the top edge of the clock face as a curved text or up in the corner. Chronograph is one, like I mentioned, these are only available to be icons. So if we click top left and scroll up and look at the calendar, you can easily tell which ones can't be used, or, oh, yeah, there we go. So this one, you see it only has a calendar icon that says 4:30. p.m. So this will only actually display the time of the entry. It won't actually display the entry. So in the case of this, it's there, but you would have to tap it to then open the calendar and see what the entry is. And then we're going to scroll down. I will show you color. So you can see color is another one that's icon only. So it can only display essentially the time with a calendar icon is the icon only version. It won't actually display it. So you can't use color. You can use count up in the corner. And this is one that I mentioned, it's super tiny. We'll just put it in the bottom right. And you can see the bold text is actually the time of the entry. The tiny text is going to be your BG. So it's really hard to read. I have a 44 millimeter Series 6 and I cannot read that. If you have the smaller watch, it'll probably be almost impossible to read. Now, some of these have options where only specific settings in the watch face allow for complications. So fire and water, for instance, if you have the rectangular face, the complications are grayed out. They're disabled. You can select the circular face, and then you can put your schedule along the bottom, just like I have here with Explorer. So look for those options. Scroll through. If there's a watch face you really like and you're not sure, scroll through the options and see. Gradient's another one. For example, if you use the full rectangle, you can't show it, but if you use the circle, you can. Now, the most popular ones that I see most people using are Infograph and Infograph Modular. And there's another one just called Modular. The difference is which watch you have. So when they increased the screen size on, I think, the Series 5, they added this extra one. So look for either Infograph Modular or just one called Modular. And this is the one that I'm using right here. So this gives you a really great display. It's biggest the biggest display you can have for your BG reading right in the middle of the watch face. This is the one I would suggest, and you just want to select the middle option for your schedule, and that'll give you exactly what you see here on the left. Kaleidoscope has no options you can use, so again, if you're not sure, click into it. And actually, it does have the options you can use. They must have just recently changed this. So anytime you're not sure, just click into a watch face, look for complications, specifically look for ones that are text like this, and pick your schedule. Memoji, you can actually add it in two places. You can add it above where you see the date. You can put it there, or you can put it at the bottom. Oh no, you can only put it at the bottom for your schedule. You can't put it at the top. And I can't show it to you on here because there's no photos on this simulator, but the portraits watch face, which is brand new for, I think, watchOS 8, the portrait watch face allows you the same position here like I put it on the bottom, but it uses your photos for that watch face. Mickey Mouse, for probably licensing reasons, Apple doesn't show it on the simulator, but it does have a similar option to most of these where you see it curved around the bottom, like liquid metal right here, curved around the bottom. And this is modular for if you have an older watch or a smaller watch that you don't have the Infograph Modular, you can still use modular and display it there too. Modular Compact works exactly the same, it's just in a different spot. So I'm hoping you can see just about every watch face has an option. And if you aren't sure, just click into the watch face. You know, if you're not sure if you can use it on that, click into it and scroll down. If there's a rectangular versus a square style, pick the rectangular versus a circle style, pick the circle because that's what will give you the options for complications, and then click in a complication and scroll up to see if your schedule is available. and then take a look at what it looks like. Siri is one that works well. You don't really need to do any settings with this. It will automatically display that calendar entry, so you don't need to set a complication. All you have to do is create the Siri watch face and it will update and show it right there when it refreshes. Some may not be obvious if you can use them. So again, this one looks like there's no complications, but click into it and double check if it has a circular option, which then gives you the complication areas that you can add it to. So just about every watch face can actually be used, as you can see here. Hopefully I've set it enough that you're starting to see the pattern of what to look for on a watch face. Now there's a few watch faces that can't be shown in the simulator, and you'll only have these if you have Nike, the Nike Apple Watch. So the Nike Bounce, I don't believe has any complications you can use. That is just purely a rectangular full face watch watch face. But the others are very similar to ones you've seen on standard watches. Nike Compact, Nike Hybrid, these both have spaces that are usable. Nike Analog and Nike Digital can both put it along the bottom. So all four of those Nike watch faces can be used if you want to use them. So that is how you set up the calendar setup and then adding it to your watch face. And then once you have the watch faces created, you can change watch faces either by just swiping from the left edge or the right edge of your screen on your watch, or you can pick the watch face in the watch app and it'll swap over your watch to that face. Now, the next one I want to show you is something that Apple probably never intended to be done, and that is sort of a hack to use the photo watch face with constantly updating photos. So traditionally, they expect you're just going to, have your favorites album and that's synced and it just cycles through your favorites. Well, I found a bit of a hack method to use loop follow to save out graph images that then get synced over to the watch. So to enable this, you want to turn on Save Graph Image for Watch Face. And the only other setting I would suggest is that you have your minimum BG scale set to 400. As you can see, the time and the date show up in sort of the top right corner. So if you have your scale too low, a lot more often you'll have your dots going right through the time. So set that to 400. And then I do want to point out that this is based on your scale. So if you pinch to zoom, you can tweak sort of how much you want displayed on that watch face for every reading. Now to set this up, once we have it turned on, this will automatically create some photo albums. You'll see two new photo albums, Loop Follow and Loop Follow Old. And again, I had to sort of hack this for functionality that Apple never intended. So that's why I have this old one. You'll see Loop Follow will always have one photo in it. That's always going to be the latest graph image. After that time passes and it gets a new one, it moves it to the Loop Follow Old album. So what you need to do though is Apple does not allow an app to just delete photos without specific permission. So after a few hours of this running, you'll see there'll be 100 photos in there. Come into the settings and click delete watch face images. And it will prompt you, do you want to allow it to delete these images? Just click delete and it'll clean those old images up. Now, that will also start a 24-hour timer for an iOS notification that'll just be a reminder to delete your watch face images. So once a day, I usually get that reminder, click delete watch face images, just so my photo album doesn't get exploded with these graph images. Now, they are super tiny, so they hardly take up any storage space also. Then, how to set this up on your watch. We're going to go back into to the watch app on your iPhone and scroll down. And similar to what I showed you with the calendar setup, this information is not available in the simulator. So you're going to scroll down, and right where you pick calendar, keep scrolling, and you're going to reach one that says photos. And when you get to photos, you'll click into it. And the key thing here is you want to pick loop follow for the album to sync. And after you do that, that's going to tell your iPhone, hey, everything that shows up in this album, sync it over to the watch. Then under your face gallery, again, they don't show the photos face in the simulator. So you're going to scroll up, you're going to pick photo face, which would be right here above portrait. And in photo face, you're going to pick the loop follow album as the one to sync. You should see it show up with a graph right there. Click add, and then you can change your watch face over to the photo face. Now, a note about this, because this is super experimental, it's a super crazy, messy hack of what Apple intended photo faces to be used for. It doesn't always work. It doesn't always work perfectly. Sometimes you'll see it stop working for a little time, and it's just purely because Apple never really meant for this photos face to update with a newly synced photo every 5 minutes. But when it does run, it's really, really cool to use. If you do have problems, my suggestion would be first try a full reboot, and then second, of both devices, your phone and your watch. And then second, come under General and scroll down, and you'll see near the bottom a menu pick that says Reset. And this, sorry, again, this is in the Watch app on your iPhone. So when you pick on that menu that says Reset, there'll be an option that says Reset Sync Data. What that'll do is that just kind of clears up anything that's stuck in the sync between your phone and your watch, and it resyncs everything. And a lot of times that'll get it started again. Thanks for watching. This is full in depth on how to set up your watch face or your calendar stuff for Loop Follow and your Apple Watch. And quick note at the end about CarPlay is do the full calendar setup like you did, like I showed at the beginning, and flip your CarPlay over to the widget screen, and that will automatically display. There's no additional setup after you set it up on the calendar of the iPhone. It's just automatic at that point. Thanks for watching, guys.